Hi out there in TV land. This is Bob again, Bob's Art Class, brought to you in television land and the art world in general by Frosted Flakes today. We're happy to have them advertising us this week. We have today a very special guest who is arrived from New York City fresh, and today he's going to teach us how to do action painting. This is Arthur Chiquita, first time in the state and ready to paint. Arthur?
Hi, Bob.
Great to see you in town again.
Great to see you, Bob. It's good to be here.
You're part of the action school, we understand.
That's right, Bob. I'm part of the action school. We believe in action painting.
You find you like to keep moving while you paint usually, or?
That's the idea, Bob. You paint, you move, you paint, you move.
Is there a tradition of this sort in the area art? Is this something that...
No, Bob, no. This is, I invented this.
This is brand new, as of 1991.
Well, I've been action painting actually since my birth.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful, Art. We really are thrilled to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Bob.
So we'll get right back to an example of this right before your very eyes here in just a few seconds.
This week's Bob's Art Class is brought to you by a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts and Frosted Flakes. They're great!
Okay, Art, welcome back, and I'm turning the class over to you.
Okay, Bob. Now, first, two things have to happen. Paint has to get on the board. How do we get the paint on the board? The action painter gets the paint on the board. Two, we get the paint. Now that we have the paint, now that we have the paint on the face, what we have to do is get the paint on the board. How do we get the paint on the board? This is how we get the paint on the board. We start at the board. We begin our action. Having selected an action, we begin to move until we feel the action, and the action begins to move us. It's okay to fall down.
Lucky today to have with us critic Clement Greenberg here. We're going to discuss this piece, which Art has just finished. Art's back here. We're going to talk about this piece now. Clement, do you see anything unusual in this piece?
Well, I
Does
think
this look like the rest of his work to you?
it does. What's interesting to me is that this is the piece that is Art's just finished. In a sense, it may be the piece that's just finished art, which I think has a wonderful symmetry to it.
Well, I think that's very true.
There's a plastic quality to it, which I found in most of his work in the past. How do you feel about it, Bob?
Well, I like the sculptural aspect of the puncture wound here in the painting.
That's certainly very nice. If we turn it this way, which is perhaps the way he intended it to be, from the way he struck it, I have a feeling that this is what he had in mind.
Well, I'm not sure if we'll ever really know what he meant. It is the light, the quality of the light is the thing that I find extraordinary. There's kind of an oozing of light, don't you feel?
Well, one of the things I like is that it's both abstract and, in a sense, phallic.
Well, actually, too, we might look at it another way. What if we look at it this way?
It reminds me a lot of Art's work. And he's always been a good fellow, and I've tried to be a good friend to him over the years.
We've had Art on several times on the program. I don't think he's ever put quite so much of himself into it as this. I like the red coming out. You can see just around the edges a small reminiscent area of sort of human frailty there around the edge.
A little insouciance over here too, don't you think?
Well, maybe.
Where it curves under, I like that.
Maybe a little, just a little though.
It reminds me a little of the early Bonnard.
Well, I'd say actually I'm slightly reminded of Yves Klein, some of his hopping out of the window type things. And some of the work that he had bodies crawling around on the canvases, some of them were very much like this, I think.
I think that sometimes we confuse the art with the artist.
Well, that's true. In this case, of course, it is true.
Oh my. Oh, that's what it needed, I think, don't you?
That's much better. The balance. It
Yes.
establishes a relationship, finally.
From Franz Klein to Recline.
Well, that's true. Before it had a loneliness, and now it has
The
a
conversation and dialogue between those two is a remarkable thing.
connection. Well, I think he's done his greatest piece here, actually.
I think it's pretty remarkable, Bob.
Next week, we'll try and have another experiment, another class. 10 o'clock Saturday morning. Thank you for being with us.